go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game I'm playing. Straight to the bank to collect my payments. No negotiations, it's my way, I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
I don't know how to stop. I just go till I drop. Whether it's working or shots, give it all that I got. You can watch me work in my element. Anyone in the way is irrelevant. You wanna cross me, cool, not intelligent. Cause I don't forget shit like an elephant. Go ahead and tempt me, put it on the line and you'll come up empty. If I got time, I'm deadly. Never caught off guard, no, I'm always ready. I got a hand real steady. Look me in the eye and you'll see no hezzy. About to get real messy. I'll put you in a grave 6 feet like Kenny.
top,
Yo,
yeah.
no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
All right.
It's showtime.
Hello, hello, welcome. If you are new here, please subscribe and click the notification bell. Share everywhere. Follow, hit my link that's pinned at allmylinks.com. Thumb up the video, share, subscribe, click the bell, ding the dong, bing the bong, all that great stuff. So, Katt Williams was on Club Shay and he dropped a lot of bombs. And one of the bombs that he dropped is that a lot of dudes are on here, or a lot of dudes in entertainment, wearing dresses.
These nuts.
Now, you've probably have seen different comedians and actors in a dress, thought that it was somewhat funny, comical, such as like Tyler Perry. I've seen the stuff, I didn't think anything of it, and they weren't really doing that to entertain you. Because just like back in the day, there were people who would put on something called blackface, and it was for white people and sometimes even black people who could pass the paper bag test, if you will, to demonize, humiliate, and make fun of black people. All right, this right here is blackface.
But there I saw so many gals I couldn't get away. Wheel about and turn about and do just so. Every time I wheel about I jump Jim Crow. Give me back my clothes, please. And so it was that a young song and dance man, who was later belovedly known as Daddy Rice, was the first to bring blackface characterization to the American stage. Every time.
All right, yeah, so blackface was designed to demonize, humiliate black people, and it was a caricature of black people. Negative, you can't do it now. Well, you're not supposed to anyway. And then there was Judy Garland. She did blackface.
Carry me home, swing low, sweet chariot.
Now look at her appearance. So Judy Garland's appearance while in blackface, you have the kind of like the nappy, kinky hair, big exaggerated lips. That's white right there. And a lot of times they would do cooning and buffooning when wearing the blackface. Basically, it was to demonize someone. Now, in this modern day of people wearing blackface, it's a little bit different because people are not painting their faces. They're using their actual face, and instead of blackface makeup, they're wearing regular makeup. And there's men putting on dresses, and they're playing caricatures just like black people back in the day played caricatures. Here's Shirley Temple in blackface.
Ah, right down the scuppers. Come here, you. Pull off these boots. Will You little black rascal! I'll tan your hide for this! Come here, you little rascal!
You let me do! You let me do!
White, by gad! Who told you to put that black on? I guess your daddy told you to do it. Your daddy's a soldier, isn't he? Why, I wouldn't hurt a little girl like you. Maybe you'll tell me where your daddy is. I'd like to talk to him. Come here, you!
So he was getting ready to hurt the child till finding out that the child was in blackface. And it's racist art form, and it's made to demonize and humiliate people. Right. See, if it would have been a black child, he would have, quote unquote, hurt the child. But in seeing that the child was really in blackface, it was Shirley Temple, it was all good at that point. At that point, the child was safe. And that's basically 3 examples of why it's racist art, it's negative, and it's meant to demonize and humiliate black people. So before going to this, the reason why it should be, well, it is offensive, is when these people, these actors in front of you, when they put on dresses, they're not men in dresses. These are black men, primarily dark-skinned black men. They're putting on dresses, putting on makeup, and they are negative caricatures of black women. They're playing negative stereotypes of black women, specifically dark-skinned black women. So you got Kevin Hart in front of you, he's cooning and buffooning, and everybody else. And a lot of actors, they were sold the idea of doing it because they were playing a character. But in actuality, the character was a negative stereotype of dark-skinned black women. All of them, from Wanda, from Shanae, from Chris Tucker playing the character, even J.L. White playing Myrtle. They were all negative caricatures and stereotypes of dark-skinned black women. All of them. Because think about it. They could have easily have just hired a black woman to play the caricatures. They could have easily have done that. They could have had the black woman play a stereotype, you know, what have you, for whatever written in the script. But the reason why it had to be a man in a dress playing a caricature is because it was demeaning not just the black man and dark-skinned black man in a dress, but it also was demeaning a dark-skinned black woman. So it was a 2-for-1 by doing that, and Hollywood has done that to emasculate the men that were wearing the dress and to further humiliate black women. So with this caricature that's presented, what it does is it makes black women, specifically dark-skinned black women, feel negative about herself. Self-hatred, if you will. That's the reason why you have the perming of the hair, skin bleaching, and this self-hatred gets passed on to children that she has. Because her seeing imagery of herself, cooning and buffooning and looking negative and people laughing at her, when she has children, a lot of that self-hatred is going to be passed on to the children or taken out on the children. Right, I wouldn't hurt a little girl like you. Like you was after the soldier in the movie found out it was Shirley Temple in blackface. So that is what is negative about putting on the dress for a black man. Really, it should be any man, to be honest. But specifically a dark-skinned black man putting on a dress, being Medea, playing Medea, or any of the other characters where it's a negative stereotype of dark-skinned black women, it further perpetrates the racist art form of things similar to blackface that you can no longer have. So Hollywood and the executives in Hollywood have found a workaround, and that is a black man putting on a dress, cooning and buffooning, and basically presenting negatives of a society, negatives of a culture to further promote white supremacy, and the other side of that is black inferiority. That's what we have. And a lot of actors, they're not paid what they're worth, they're overworked, and they're presented the idea of putting on a dress as a means to have a shortcut in their career. Now, it's you got to do more than just simply put on a dress and play a negative caricature and a negative stereotype of dark-skinned black women. You also have to take a pipe in the back door. You also have to be with someone who passes the paper bag test as far as a girlfriend or a wife. And all of this is to further promote white supremacy and black inferiority. Now, you might say, well, when I watch that stuff, it doesn't bother me. I don't see color. And I hear you. I get it. But understand that blackface wasn't really meant to entertain black people. It was always designed to entertain white people, to promote racism, to further promote suppression. And the way you do that is by demonizing black people. There's different pictures and imagery that went on back in Jim Crow and even before Jim Crow, right after Emancipation Proclamation, and even during slavery. If you dehumanize a person or people, it makes it easier to do negative things to them, which promotes a negative environment for black people. So now you can't do blackface. So they do this new modern age blackface, which is black men in dresses. And that's what Katt Williams said that he turned down. However, a lot of actors will take on those roles to get a paycheck, to continue to have a career. And it is what it is. We heard Taraji P. Henson. She was complaining that she's been in the industry. She's considered an icon, well known. She's not paid a lot. I'm pretty sure that she was presented with roles that if you take this role, you'll get a shortcut and be able to find work in other projects. And then when they don't take that role, it's harder for them, like it's been for Taraji P. Henson. I'm pretty sure that Taraji was presented with the role of in Baby Boy as Yvette, was also presented to be a woman of the night in that movie Hustle and Flow. She more than likely had to take those roles or she would be blacklisted, which is why I say that the only way you're going to be able to combat that is not just turning down those jobs or those roles and those projects, but there has to be a black Hollywood to rival the current Hollywood. I digress. So there was a panel that took place in discussing the Katt Williams situation, or Katt Williams interview that took place on the Shay podcast, and that was On the Block with Jen. Now, her YouTube channel is a pro-LGBTQ channel. It is also it also discusses stereotypes such as what black people go through. So upper right is LGBTQ, upper left is Jen. She's Hispanic, Latino. Oh no, she's Puerto Rican. She speaks on black issues, even though she's not black. Then you got Huron DeMarco, lower left. He kind of talks about his experience as a black man. And then you got the lower right is a white guy. So she has all different demographics, and a lot of stuff they say I disagree with, and a lot of stuff it's kind of like, okay, I see where you're coming from. So they're discussing black men in dresses, and what's presented is, what's the big deal of a black man putting on a dress?
And then I notice as adult black males do it to other adult black males. Now, let's play devil's advocate with this Katt Williams thing. He went hard on black men that are just doing their job. They're comedians. And I think...
Well, they're not doing their job. They're promoting negative stereotypes of dark-skinned black women.
Based liberal.
And see, someone that doesn't come from that community and has never been a part of that community, they're not going to fully understand the negatives that come with a black man being in a dress.
Black men or any man in a dress for a series or a film, I really do think that the point is missed, that it's really a caricature and making fun of a woman versus emasculating a man, that man in the dress.
It's both of them. It's both. It's doing both at the same time. It's a 2-for-1.
Follow me, okay? I think it's making fun of women. I think it's making fun of us versus let's put this man in a dress. Now, that's not to say that there's not an agenda. And sometimes I think what people call agenda is just not so much an agenda per se, but the way black men are looked at by white society. Like, you're a boy. You know what I mean? You're not important. Since the plantation, you're a boy. So I don't.
Well, it's also, it puts a negative stereotype on how black people see themselves or how we see ourselves. So it's more impactful than blackface because it's almost like we're doing it to ourselves.
Overkill.
I don't know if it's an agenda as much as it is they look at black people as entertainment and entertainment only. Doesn't matter how big a man is. It could be Terry Crews, but if he's dancing, you know what I mean? He reinforces that no matter how big and strong you are, you still the fucking clown. You still the court jester. Now, whose fault is that? Terry Crews wasn't in a dress, but it's...
Yeah, he was. He was in a dress. Right there. Lower right, he was in a dress. See, a lot of dudes have been in dresses. Now, the different type of, we'll just say, modern day blackface was when Marlon Wayans and his brother, Sean Wayans, did the White Chicks. That was a little bit different, but it was kind of the same thing. And I mean, you may have saw that in movie White Chicks and thought it was funny, but it's the same negative stereotype. And the reason why it's negative towards black men is because it was Terry Crews who's this big strong guy attracted to basically trans. He didn't know it was trans, but he still was attracted to trans even though they were portraying themselves to be white chicks, which is a further negative stereotype because this is a black man who's supposed to be big and strong, attracted to men dressed in drag, dressed as women. Another negative stereotype.
Cringe to me when he's like, right? I think that's a
barbells and shit like
that. Oh, you didn't see him in the Cheerio commercial? In the Honey Nut Cheerio commercial?
Jesus Christ.
Okay. I think to me that's a worse. I'm sorry. I think that's worse to me than a comedian in a dress making fun of a woman, being a caricature of a woman. I think Terry Crews being big, black, and buff, to me, that's a way worse image, in my opinion, than a skinny.
It's all the same. It's all the same. There's not a, this is worse, this is better. It's all the same. It's all negative stereotypes.
Uh-oh, stinky.
And see, even with Rickey Smiley having one of his gimmicks of telling a joke is him dressing up as Bernice Jenkins, or the grandmother rather, it's negative because you could just hire someone or get someone who is that age to put on wear a dress and everything and make fun of her grandmother. That'd be part of her bit. That'd be fine. But the problem is that he's emasculating himself while putting down and making fun of older, dark-skinned black women.
Comedian in a fucking dress who's trying to be funny.
Like this is my issue with the comments about Dave Chappelle, you know, and the issue with his material now. It was all well and good when he was talking about niggas, though. When he was making fun of black people, ain't nobody really said anything.
It's because Dave Chappelle's comedy has always been, we'll just say, directed towards white people. And what I mean is, when he's making fun of black people, Dave Chappelle knows he has a white audience. So that stuff is offensive as well. It's just that black people weren't really feeling Dave Chappelle until recently when he started taking shots at LGBTQ and also the Jewish community. That's when black people kind of was like, okay, we were feeling you kind of before we understood it was comedy, but we're feeling you more now because we feel like you represent us. So when he had the Chappelle show, his audience was primarily white. A white person is actually the one that put me on to the show. And so he would make fun of white people and black people. And that's how he was able to get away with it, was because he was also making fun of black people as well.
You know what I mean? And he said a number of things, you know what I mean? You know, he poked fun a lot at black culture and so on. And it was hilarious. It wasn't that hilarious when he stopped doing too much of that and started, you know, pulling everyone else into the fray. That's when things started getting real uncomfortable. People need to really pay attention to that. When you're a black comedian and the butt of the joke. As a matter of fact, I got into a conversation with someone about this. When you're a black comedian and your shtick is the butt of the that black people is the butt of the joke, 9 times out of 10 you're going to have some success to some degree. You know what I mean? Some attention, because there is a school of white people who will not be laughing with you. They'll be laughing at you. Now, I got into a conversation with a brother about this, you know what I mean? Because he had an issue with him, you know, making fun of trans people. I was like, wait, but I asked him, I was like, wait, let me ask you something. You know, I said nothing when he was really, you know what I mean, making us the butt of the joke. And you know what he said? He said, well, it's a different thing when you're talking about a community that you're actually from. And then I said, oh, so you mean it'd be funny if he was a trans person making trans jokes? And that's when he was like, yeah, now you're looking like a fucking moron because you put yourself in a fucking corner and didn't realize you just gave me an argument. Because you didn't really sit down. And like I tell y'all a lot of times, idiots open their mouths before they really think about what the fuck they're saying and really analyzing the entire scope of a fucking argument. So I say that to say this, you know what I mean? When Dave Chappelle had us as the butt of the joke, he was funny. When that wasn't the case, all of a sudden people started picking his situation and his comedy apart. And
no, it wasn't funny. It was humorous, but it still was offensive. It's just the people who mainly were supporting him and laughing were laughing at black people. That's the reason why when he switched and started adding stuff about LGBTQ in the Jewish community, it became quote unquote not funny, because those people didn't like him putting down their communities. And that's kind of what it is. Black people tend to be more passive when black men are putting on dresses, dressing up as black women and doing negative caricatures. Black people are more passive when it comes to that stuff, as opposed to other groups. And that's really what it is. Because if Dave Chappelle was not able to have black people be passive about the stuff that he was doing and accepting of it and thinking that, well, it's a joke, no big deal, I don't think he would have been as successful as he is now, because he had to start off somewhere, and he started off doing black comedy. It wasn't really working, and that's when he switched into doing more white comedy, making fun of black people. But black people primarily don't really get together and quote unquote cancel someone unless it's really, really egregious, because black people tend to only be able to come together and do stuff when we have a common enemy, a common target, not for a common cause. So Dave Chappelle has never been seen as a common target or enemy because he's black.
Anyway, go ahead.
And you're talking about white people
Yes,
started to pull them apart.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
I just wanted to be clear. So let me share the screen really quickly. And I think I've played this here before, but this to me turned my stomach.
Like some people in the comments talk about, black dudes are zesty. There's a lot of zesty white dudes too. You ain't talking about them though, because you wouldn't dare do that because there's a consequence attached to it. There's no consequence for you to, beat on a black gay person. When's the last time you heard about black people beating on a fucking white gay person?
Right.
When's the last time you heard about a bunch of black people fucking up some gay white boys or gay or killing? I've never heard in my life heard about a white trans woman killed by a black person. I've never heard that in my life.
Oh, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Someone is dating someone, they find out this person's trans, and then it turns into a negative situation. It just depends on what the media wants to broadcast. But we see it all the time on social media.
Yeah, and the sad
thing is, here it is real quick. This right here just...
It's a job. It's a job. Okay. You know what I mean? He trying to move up the ranks. The man trying to build that IDB, man. That man trying to, trying to build that resume.
The petition trying to get him off social media, believe it or not.
A fairy granting wishes or some shit like that. And he said the tone of the
people on that side saying, let's stop going into the past about shit. We're successful. We're doctors and lawyers and presidents and moguls and billionaires, right? You have people like that, right? So that's what I said. We have a long way to go, like a long way to go. Who truly is the biggest enemy of black men?
My only gripe is that I don't think there is an agenda. An agenda implies as if there's some sort of fight. There's no fight. A lot of black men are very docile around white people. They're very broken, as I've said before. You know what I mean?
I mean, you might be broken, but it depends on where you're at and what people you're around, whether they're docile or not. Because when white people go to the hood, they get checked. It just depends on, are you around masculine men or are you around dudes who are just like, you know what, I'm going to shut up and take it. And a lot of that comes from them growing up in single parent households, them being mama's boys, coddled by the mom, and they tend to prefer the company of women or prefer the company of effeminate men. I wouldn't want to be in the company of people who are LGBTQ. I don't have a problem with it. It's just when it comes to keeping company of people, I like to be around people who are like me. Now, you might be like, well, no, I like to be around women because I'm attracted to women. But understand that if you're, that's just my opinion, but if you're a man and you enjoy the company of women, it's only a matter of time before you get into women's business. It's only a matter of time before you start engaging in stuff that women primarily like, and you'll be somewhat feminine because you're not hanging around them to sleep with one of them. If you're enjoying the company of women and that's what you prefer to be around, you're not necessarily trying to talk to them. You're actually comfortable with them, and it's because you may share a lot more qualities with them than you know. And so we're going to transition into Katt Williams' interview on Club Shay Shay.
Spade, Parkland.
Use my cash app card when I cash her out. Shoot her 250 on the cash app, then I ask her out.
Cash app, what's your cash app? Cash app, what's your cash app?
Get on your cash app, $
Spade, Parkland.
We're going to start getting some work done, family. So please get them donations in. Get them in. $
Spade, Parkland.
Yes, get the donations in. All right.
the one comedian, as we've been sitting here doing this interview, that you hold in very high regard is Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million. You said it was more. Tell the story.
That's right.
I will let you tell it.
No, you're
no,
the best.
I want you to tell it.
You really are the best. You proving it here today. As much as I'm proving it, you proving it. You proving it. Yeah, that wasn't the thing. It wasn't. People say that. He lost $50 million. No, that's not even close to what happened to this dude. And until you understand what happened to the dude, you don't understand what happened. Like, no, not they offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Can I need another one? You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being...
Katt, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, but you know, some of these people...
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Katt, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner, you my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. We gonna do it together. We gonna do some buddy cop shit. I said, Martin, you got my motherfucking word, my nigga. Go do what you gotta do. When you come back, I'm in your movie. Don't trip. I don't need to see the script or nothing. You know, we get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's House 2. I almost died. And I gotta read this script in front of all these good white people. Where this nigga want me to get in a dress with him. And I'm literally saying to everybody, why is he in a dress again? You already played the old lady as an FBI agent.
Sus.
Right. Why is Martin in a dress again? There really wasn't a need for a Big Mama's House 2, but they did it. They did it. And that's the thing. It's just a modern day blackface of a black man getting in the dress and playing a negative caricature of black women. And that's the thing, like when Dave Chappelle walked away from the $50 million, it wasn't just do $50 million for season 3. That's what was made public. He probably had to take a poll in the back door, put on a dress, and do a whole bunch of other stuff that was like modern day blackface, and he didn't want to do it. And it's good that he walked away. It's good that Katt Williams walked away as well. But there are other people who did not walk away. There's a lot of people who they said they wouldn't do it, and then they did it, and now they're being called out for it, and they're taking L's. And what I mean by they're taking L's, they are on social media to address the Katt Williams interview, and they breaking down. They are breaking down. Yeah. Yeah. Breaks down in tears amid the Katt Williams controversy. Yeah. A lot of sugar in the tank. Okay. A lot of sugar in the tank. Okay, sugar it up. Okay. Okay. Wow.
Unfrickin' believable.
Yeah.
Emotional damage.
Yeah.
Can I get you water or something, man?
Oh, okay.
You doing okay? All right.
Yeah.
Can we give you a minute?
Thank you.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Now, people have come online and said that he was upset because his son passed away 2023 in January around this time. I think it's because of the Katt Williams controversy, because he was coming online to address it and he broke down crying, maybe not just because of what Katt Williams said, but because of what he had to do to be able to, let's just say, get the position that he's been in. Yeah. I think that Katt Williams was confident on Club Shay because he knows if anybody were to come at him and try to debunk what he said, Katt Williams has receipts. And when you have receipts, people can't come at you talking crazy.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
And I think Katt Williams waited for when he was going to be booked to go on the Club Shay YouTube channel, because Rickey Smiley and a lot of other comedians went on there, took shots at Katt Williams, and now when Katt Williams is taking shots back, they're crying. So I think what they thought was that Katt Williams was going to take shots right when they took shots at him, and they could provoke him. But no, Katt Williams, he probably sat back, took time out to collect more receipts to make sure that when he did fire off a clip, he was going to be ready. Yep, and that's what happens. That's what happens when people get their lick back and they're prepared, they're planning, and they are decisive.
I've been doing shit. I was on That's So Raven. I was on all this shit. I did extra work. I was on all of the white people TV shows. The
Okay.
black people TV shows. I used to be on Dance 360. I've been out here. I've been telling jokes since 1996. 1996. This man said, oh, they wouldn't let her perform in a comedy store. That's true. They wouldn't let me perform on the white nights in the comedy store, but I performed on all the black nights. They wouldn't let me perform on the white nights at the Improv, but I performed on all the black and Latino nights. And so the rest of my...
Yep. So she says, I am not mad. I just wish he would get his facts right about me. Dang, I guess I would send him a reminder text. But are we sure that is Katt Williams? He looks a lot like Charleston White. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
I'm doing something to keep me excited about things.
Right.
Yeah.
So you look down, you see like, oh, things are good.
Things are good. Don't worry about the economy, the recession, the mortgage, gas prices. Just ignore all that. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the downside to a live show. Sometimes the internet
That's a great message for everyone, I think. I guess you have a bunch of friends who are rap stars, rappers. Is that right? Mm-hmm. And you maintain, you know comedians and you know rappers. You think that rappers are funnier than comedians. Is that true?
I'm saying some of these rap guys are just hilarious. Like, right. I didn't understand that they were that funny. Like, Snoop is just really hilarious.
Snoop Dogg is funny,
He's doing all these things. He's got 2 TV shows. He's doing a movie. He's got 3 albums. He's coaching football. He's doing a show about being a father. And you hear he's high, and you're like, I can't get out of the room if I'm high.
He's doing all
Remarkable
of this
man,
stuff, but
yeah.
he really is. But yeah, the rap world has just been amazingly hilarious to find out how many funny guys are out there.
Yeah, I can. Well, and also they have their own language and just their
Yeah.
way of living, and they just this bravado, and it works.
You know all about it. You're there with us at the parties.
It's true. Yeah, I'm a fixture at every rap party. Hiya, fellas. How's it going?
Motherfuckers be gay in Hollywood, you never fucking expected. They be having these big ass mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms. I ain't been famous that goddamn long. I'm excited than a motherfucker to be at the mansion party. You be looking at all the goddamn rooms, and you fuck around and look in the wrong room and shit.
Yeah. What's in the room?
Nigga, come here. Come here. Is that two niggas kissing? Is one of them niggas Professor Obi? He came out the closet. He came out the closet. Oh my God, a rubber.
Yeah.
Say about that. Did you get like slack when you wore the dress at that moment?
It was like, wasn't slack from people. Only Katt Williams. Katt Williams was trying to always say, Brandon, don't wear a dress. You know,
he called you, or is this?
No, he was saying it in the media, so I thought he was heckling me. He was really trying to help me at the time. I didn't know that. I was immature.
Right.
I feel like, dang, why I'm trying to make it. Why you bashing me? And then he was trying to warn me, you know, don't get in the dress. So the Awakened Brandon, you couldn't pay him $1 trillion to get in the dress.
Yeah. Was there like how did they present that? Well, you knew right away you had to get in the dress.
I did the scene on Lottery Ticket.
Okay.
That scene on Lottery Ticket. After that, they were pushing his dress on me. It was something about that scene that touched a lot of people, and I think I was too real. I think they.
What the hell?
Creep on in, on in.
Chimp Williams. Chimp Williams. It's hard to address lunacy and hypocrisy.
But how? He hasn't put out a dress. He hasn't put out a dress, so where has he been hypocritical?
Downright ignorance. But it's so funny how many people think this dumb, stupid mother is spitting truth. But that's the internet, I guess. You guys want to believe in something so bad. I guess you left God and now you believe in chimps like this. Who's an actual chimp and you're not listening.
Wow.
Listen to what he's saying. He's actually calling for help. He's calling for help. None of this says lines up with nothing. He runs a Fort something sub.
Okay, doesn't line up.
I've taken 46 comedians with me on the road. 46.
Okay.
I'm not the comedian you can give that to. I only put on comedians that are funnier than me. Anybody that ever told you differently was a fat Faizon liar. There's nobody like me in the business.
Faizon just called it straight.
Faizon said that getting a Netflix special is easy. I have 12 specials. Guess how many Faizon got? 0.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
New York Knicks. I don't know if you guys know this, but Katt Williams bought the Knicks.
He definitely bought it.
He bought the Knicks,
Yeah.
and it's rumored that he took the Knicks back, returned them with a receipt.
Yeah, you could do that. You didn't know you could do
the
that.
The first person to ever do it.
Oh, they gave him a 30-day policy.
He got it. Well, he bought it for 15 days
and returned it.
Yeah. It's another fun fact about the New York Knicks.
He made the team.
He played.
Oh, he played.
He played with the Knicks. He played with them.
Well, you know he's fast. They say he's fast.
Yeah,
he run a
one of the fastest.
3.9.
What you saying?
A sub 3.9. He figured out how to play basketball from reading all them books.
3,000 of them.
3,000 a year.
A year.
That's 2 a day. At 6 years old. That's 2 a day. Who knew he was so voracious?
At the age 7, he got accepted to I think it was Delaware University.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Never made public news.
No. Ever.
The biggest secret in the world.
Well, okay.
Hey,
smartest kid to ever do it. They kept it a secret for 48 years. They kept it a secret, and it just dropped on it.
Well, he was hitchhiking on the side of the street at 13, so they couldn't find it. Speaking of which, Kev, you've had a busy week.
Yeah.
A tough one.
Yeah, real busy week, fellas. A real busy one.
Okay. Oh, Ja Morant coming in to the Lakers. Okay, I see you.
Another known fact, Katt dropped him off.
Oh, wow. Katt just dropped Ja Morant.
He gave him a ride.
In a spaceship. Okay. In a spaceship. Copy that. Spaceship that he parallel parked.
Known fact, Katt Williams has a NBA basketball court in his living room. He's the first to ever really...
Oh, yeah.
He's the first to embrace a true hardwood floor.
Yeah.
He bought it in his home.
Was he playing against that little boy that put him on the ground?
Another known fact.
By the way, he's fighting for the MMA championship, the 17-year-old boy that put him in there.
Okay.
Katt or not, he's not going to talk behind your back. However he feels about you, that's how he feels about you. Now, he did say one thing. He talked about Rickey Smiley, and he talked about when Rickey Smiley went on Club Shay, Shannon Sharp's podcast, which is a great podcast, especially for, I know I'm a white guy, but for my demographics, and I'll get into that in a minute, what Katt said about me, but for my demographics, you know, Club Shay, I'd rather go on Club Shay than Joe Rogan. Even though, okay, I got to get into I got to unpack this podcast, because Katt made a comment where he said, why you think Gary Owen, who's a white guy, has been doing stand-up for 25 years, hasn't crossed over. And when he said it, I was like, wait a minute, was that a good thing or bad thing? And I literally had to go to Twitter and start asking people, was I catching strays or what was that? And they was like, no, they were saying you haven't sold your soul. That's why you haven't crossed over. You've been consistently you, and that's why you haven't, quote unquote, crossed over. So I was like, oh, okay, that made sense. Now, I'm not going to get into it, but I've been, I was in an awkward situation one time where I can't say for 100% this person was trying to make me do something, casting couch type deal, but it felt like it. And I was like, is this that point where I've always heard, would you suck a dick for $1 million? And I was thinking to myself, when I was in this office in this room going, well, this is I'm about to answer this question. And the answer was no, I wouldn't. So now I listen, I can't say for 100% that's where it was going, but it felt like it. It felt like it. You got to be in the room to feel it. And I was like, oh, this dude is really coming on to me. Like, this is happening in real life. And the dude did it, and he'll always remain nameless. I think he was feeling me out. Like, is this dude? And this was years ago. I was young in the game, but I was just like, wait a minute, is this happening right now? I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, so a lot of people who may be upset with Katt Williams and cracking jokes on him, they may have got the same deal, and they said yes. Unless they come forward and say that they did not do it, it's up to them. And I think that's really what the big takeaway is, that people have sold out. So Katt Williams, during the Shay interview with Shannon Sharp, was saying that if your culture has you in a quote-unquote dress, which could be like a traditional dress like the guys wear in UAE in the Middle East, you don't have to wear a dress. So in the Middle East, their culture is wearing a dress, so they don't have to wear a dress. But see, this is like a masculine dress. It is not like a dress that's in the West. Same thing with people who wear kilts. A kilt would be considered a dress in the West, but it's a kilt. It's for men. It's masculine. So both the Middle Eastern dress, and I don't have the actual names of it, Kandura, traditional dress, the Gutras and the Shamags. Don't butcher me in the comment section for messing these up, but these would be considered a dress in the West, but we know it's not an actual dress. And so if your culture is this, you don't have to put on a dress in Hollywood. So this is primarily reserved for dark-skinned black men, comedian, actors, what have you, to put on a dress, put on makeup, play a caricature of being a dark-skinned black woman, and it's demeaning and it's derogatory, and hopefully we don't see it anymore, but I doubt it. I think more people are going to be proposed with it, and they're gonna have to play ball or basically get out or take the long way. Yeah, they got to do it. So I've decided to open up the panel. I put the link in the area where it's all my links. You can click there and come on the panel. I'll wait a few minutes to see if anybody wants to come up. If not, then we'll pretty much close out the broadcast. That's pretty much what I wanted to lay out, was the fact that the new blackface is black men, specifically dark-skinned black men, putting on a dress that will be reserved for women, playing a negative caricature of women, and it's both demeaning and derogatory towards not just the black man putting on a dress and black men in general, but also to black women. So one thing I want to say is that a lot of things that we have deemed as good is actually negative. And what I mean is that 1850s or 1850, around that time period, there was the Emancipation Proclamation, and that's where you had black people who were freed, who were enslaved. And of course, you got to consider Juneteenth. Since that point, early 1900s, that's when they had not just Reconstruction that basically built up America after the American Revolution, but after that was the Gilded Age, which was a great time for black people. But the black people who really benefited were not all black people, but black people who could, quote unquote, pass the paper bag test. You were not allowed to go to a lot of white establishments like university unless you were, quote unquote, passable, meaning somebody could put up a paper bag to you. If you were darker than the paper bag, you were not allowed in certain jobs. You were not allowed at universities. You were not allowed to walk around freely in, quote unquote, white dominated arenas, which is why they had to create black versions of everything, including historically black colleges. Now, I have someone who's a friend that joined one of the Divine Nine black fraternities. And I was telling him that a lot of the Divine Nine were created not at historically black colleges, but they were created at white institutions, such as Indiana. And a lot of the people who were the founders, they could pass the paper bag test. They were accepted in white society. And the idea was the idea of the talented 10th, where black people who were given affluence, given opportunity, They were passable, imitation of life, if you will. Look it up. They were allowed to be the 10th of black people to succeed. And the idea originally was for that talented 10th, college educated, passable, able to be in white society and to gain resources that were denied to other black people. The idea was for the talented 10th to be over and control the rest of the 90th. To be the leaders, if you will, because there was a black problem as to what to do with black people. In Germany, when the Nationalist Socialist Party came into power, they were talking about what to do with the Jewish community, and they came up with the final solution, which was the Holocaust. So in America, there was the question what to do with the black people who have been freed. We don't want them in our businesses. We don't want them in our restaurants. We don't want them in our neighborhoods or in our bathrooms. What to do with them? And the talented 10th idea was one of many ideas that were presented as the final solution for black people, if you will. And with that being said, a lot of the Greek organizations that were black Greeks, because there's no black people in Greece, okay? So the black Greeks were somewhat relocated to historically black colleges, and that has been one of many ways that black people have been somewhat, we'll just say, controlled. There's other means and methods that black people have been exposed to quote unquote control to control us, and that also is the idea of the modern day blackface, which is black men putting on dresses. Because when it comes to the idea of white supremacy is not going to exist unless you have black inferiority. That's the other side of the coin. And the way that black people have adopted being inferior or bedbug or bug broken and all that is for different people who will be considered the cream of the crop and at the very top of quote unquote black society to put on dresses, to get with, as Katt Williams says, their program that is getting a girlfriend or a wife who's light-skinned, if you will. That is all a part of somewhat whitewashing or giving proximity to whiteness to a lot of black people. Now, I know a lot of black men will say, well, hold up. I have a preference. I prefer someone who's light-skinned because that's what I find attractive. And a lot of that attraction comes from the idea that you've been programmed. You've been programmed by the media. You've been programmed to not like dark-skinned black people with the caricatures that are in front of you. And it's almost like when people enter into professional sports, entertainment, such as being a movie star, television, there are handlers, allegedly, that will say, we don't want to see you with anyone except for someone who passes the paper bag test, a light-skinned woman. And they will present you with someone to be with, to date, and even to marry. And this quote-unquote light-skinned woman is a part of the programming. It's a part of the programming. And people will say, well, no, I'm not programmed. You can't tell me what to do and this and that. And I mean, that's the reason why you see a lot of them with somebody who looks a particular way. I'm gonna pull up a picture to kind of cement what Katt Williams was laying down. Right here. So these are all the guys that Katt Williams was talking about. Just a sample, of course. It's a sample of, these are all the women the light-skinned woman with the weird face. I mean, none of them would fail the paper bag test. And it's all by design. Because in addition to putting on a dress, perhaps taking it in the back door with a pole, if you date someone who would fail the paper bag test, who is dark-skinned or even brown-skinned, you will not have opportunities. So you can say it's Hollywood ritual, you can say conspiracy theory, but this is what we have in front of us. This is what we have in front of us. We see it with entertainers. We see it with people who play sports. We see it even with CEOs. Everyone who's at the very top, they get someone who is white or imitation of life, passable, and it's just a part of it. It's a part of black inferiority, which is the other side to white supremacy. So I see that no one has clicked the link to come up for the open panel. That's cool. I may do a separate stream in the future where it's just open panel the whole time instead of at the end of the broadcast like I did today. But yeah, so what do you think? Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Thumbs up the video, share to your social media, subscribe, click the notification bell. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Go forth, do great things, and I'm out. Peace.